Hello, everyone, and welcome to our No BS Mobile Attribution webinar. We're super happy to have you here today and super excited to dive into this topic. My name is John Kutsier, and I'm Singular's VP of Insights. I'll be your moderator today. Attribution is one of the topics that we're seeing heads of marketing, CMOs, growth marketers, marketing scientists, and other marketing leaders get seriously interested in. And we're going to answer a lot of questions today about it. In fact, today we're going to focus on mobile attribution. We're going to go pretty fast though, so stay tuned. We don't like those long droning webinars either. If we go too fast, don't worry. You can listen to a saved version of this webinar at any time, and we'll publish all the answers later on the Singular blog. We'll also be sending you a copy of our No BS Guide to Attribution. And while you're at it, you might even want to grab a copy of our newest report, Holiday Marketing Insights 2018. It's coming out later this week. Just so you know, we're Singular. We've been around for a while, we're in a bunch of different places, and yeah, there's more than two of us. Also, just so you know, a lot of people who do pretty cool stuff in marketing seem to like what we do. We currently help our clients optimize more than $10 billion in annual marketing spend and growing, which includes over 1 trillion customer touch points. Not shockingly, that includes mobile attribution services. Okay, let's get started by introducing you to our panelists. First, Rina Matsumoto. Super pumped to have Rina with us. Rina leads Vungle's US performance optimization team. She has a lot of experience in attribution. She's been a product manager for Gree and speaks no fewer than 4 languages. Pretty impressive. Welcome, Rina. Secondly, David Bennett. David is a sales engineer at Liftoff. I always think that these people know the most in mobile and in marketing. They're engineers, but they also touch the real world of customers every single day. David has been a software engineer at PlayStation, which sounds like a lot of fun, but probably meant super long days of coding, and speaks Romanian. Thanks for being with us, David.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome. And Barbara is with us, Barbara Maidal. Barbara is the amazing leader of marketing at Singular. She's a board member of the San Francisco Women in Tech organization. And before Singular, she led global field marketing at App Annie. Barbara, thanks for joining us. I'm super happy to have all these amazing people. And thank you for being on the panel. Thank you for joining in the audience as well. Let's dive right into it. Let's start with the basics, Rina. What is mobile attribution?
Sure. So mobile attribution is the big topic for today. Mobile attribution is the way mobile marketers understand from which marketing channels their app users are acquired from. It's incredibly important to know which traffic sources are bringing not only users, but high LTV users into your app. This will allow you to invest your marketing budget in the right sources.
Cool, thank you. Still at an intro level, we had some questions from people come in before we started this actually, and this is one from Andrew who works at Flipboard. I'm going to ask this one for Barbara. Barbara, can you touch on the challenges and capabilities for tracking attribution from a mobile app?
That's a broad question that could be taken in so many directions, and since we are just starting the discussion, I'm going to keep this high level. Mobile attribution at the core is the bridging together of advertising and mobile technologies. The challenge to attribution is being able to keep up with this constantly evolving technology. And I'll also add the constantly evolving ecosystem threats like fraud. But when done right, the insights from attribution allow marketers to execute and evaluate their mobile campaigns with proper app conversion metrics.
Cool. David, let's go a little bit deeper. One of the things we see are tracking links. What are those and how do they work?
Yeah, so there are multiple types of tracking links that we would use. One of them being impression tracking links, and another would be click tracking links. These links are used to gather data around what partners are driving impressions and clicks for you. They'll also allow us to track what users are downloading your app after seeing an ad. So this helps you assign attribution. The tracking links also help us route users to the App Store or the Google Play Store or into other app marketplaces as well. In the case of re-engagement or retargeting campaigns, they can also be set up to route users directly to your app. In general, they make data collection for digital marketing possible. As for how they work, they send information to your MMP or attribution partner when impressions are shown or when ads are clicked. The information that they send contains device data as well as a few other key pieces of information. Since they contain device data, it allows you to track when users are installing your app because of your advertising efforts and what actions they are taking in your app because of your advertising efforts.
Awesome. Thanks so much, David. By the way, if you're hearing some background noise, we are broadcasting from our offices in San Francisco. In a previous role at VentureBeat, I did a lot of webinars right on Market Street, and sirens were a daily occurrence in our webinars. So, so excuse us, there is a truck backing up outside of our office. Hopefully it will leave soon. However, we're going to continue. Okay, still with David here and still kind of on links. What's deep linking and how does it work? Why does it matter?
Yeah, so I touched on this briefly previously. This is meant within a click tracking link to link directly into an app. So it's for re-engagement campaigns, and it really just introduces a smoother user experience. This is important because it allows you to minimize the number of steps that your users have to complete in order to reach the desired event or action. And this usually leads to better performance and increased ROI.
Cool. Barbara, anything to add there?
Yeah, just a quick comment here. I think deep linking technology has become a pretty standard part of an attribution stack. And because of that, most users now expect that when they click on an ad with a particular CTA, the app will open in that specific window.
Awesome. CTA, click through?
Click through. Yes.
Awesome. Very good. Call to action.
Call to action, yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So many acronyms in marketing, especially mobile marketing. Okay, cool. So we're still a little bit on links, or at least sharing data. And links are one way that we send and share data. Going to move to Rena and talk about postbacks, which are another way. Rena, can you talk a little bit about postbacks? Should I be getting them or sending them?
Sure. So postbacks are the way networks receive in-app data from clients, whether that's installs or post-install events like in-app purchase or tutorial completion. These postbacks will be key depending on your network's buying model or optimization methodology. So it's really important that you consult your network partners on what postbacks they'll be needing.
Cool. David, anything to add there?
Yeah, in general, postbacks enable you to share user behavior with your advertising partners. In the case of Liftoff, we're doing machine learning. So the more data we have around your user behavior, the better we can optimize your campaigns.
Excellent, excellent. So one other thing that we have in this world, this ecosystem of mobile attribution, there's this concept of a SAN, S-A-N, a self-attributing network. David, what is that? And are they really self-reporting? What does that mean?
Yeah, so self-attributing networks are networks such as Facebook, Google, and Twitter. And they inform your attribution partners which installs and actions they drove. Gets a little bit interesting there.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, we'll leave some of the depths for further webinars or maybe a whole article or something like that. Good. Let's go a little bit deeper now. We've been talking about mobile attribution and some surface level topics. We're going to go a little deeper into some of the technicalities and some of the actual places where you can really optimize and really start winning as a mobile marketer. Barbara, we're going to start with you going deeper. Granularity is a key concept in attribution. Barbara, what is it and why do marketers need granularity?
So this is one of my favorite topics, so happy to take it.
Awesome.
Granularity describes how deep a marketer is able to analyze their data. For example, basic granularity usually includes drilling down to the app and source level, while sophisticated marketers are able to go deeper into the campaign, publisher, keyword, and even creative levels. With this level of detail, marketers can decide when they should shift budget and also can better inform how to spend their time optimizing and even know exactly where to optimize. Advanced marketers who have been able to achieve scale and see massive growth are the ones who are able to optimize at deep levels of granularity. For example, as part of Singular's platform, we offer creative reporting, where we are able to pull in your ad creative so you can easily match your campaign data to your specific ads. This is a pretty powerful feature. And in fact, one of our customers who started utilizing creative reporting saw ROI increase 40% within 2 months.
That's pretty significant. And if I recall that particular case study, that was not a small client either. This is somebody who's been advertising for a long time at very high levels. That's pretty amazing. Rena, anything to add?
Yeah, completely agree with Barb here. Granularity helps you understand what types of users you're acquiring and how they were acquired too. The only thing I'll add is that it's also really helpful in investigating any issues with discrepancies and potential campaign or fraud issues by being able to drill down to specific parameters.
Excellent, excellent, thank you. So we've got granularity and we've got campaign level data. Barbara, why do marketers need to combine these two? Combine the customer level attribution data and the campaign level marketing data. Rena, Barbara, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, this is a great question, John, and one that we address frequently because the complexity of this is often misunderstood. Before I jump into why marketers need to combine this data, I first want to touch on why combining it is even a challenge. Marketing data like ad spend is only available in aggregate, while attribution data like app installs is available at the user level. By nature, aggregate and user level data do not fit together. It's like trying to assemble a puzzle with pieces from different sets. This means that marketers' data sets are often left incomplete and inaccurate. Left this way, marketers do not have the ability to dig into granular levels of insights. And this is a core problem Singular solves. We redefined how attribution data matches campaign data with the experience we've acquired over 4 years of mapping the ecosystem. So to answer why marketers need to combine these two data sets, the answer is pretty simple: to achieve granularity and hence uncover ROI at granular levels, which is exactly what we just spoke about in the last question.
Really, really cool. Awesome. Rena, any other thoughts?
No, I just really want to emphasize what Barbara said here, that only once you marry the campaign level data and the user level data do you have a full understanding of your marketing campaigns.
That makes a ton of sense. So granularity is great. That's awesome. I can see a lot of things, but how deep does it actually go? Rena, can I see where ad networks are actually running my ads? And if so, how?
Sure. So at Vungle, we try to provide as much transparency to our advertisers as possible. We share publisher site names with all of our clients to give full transparency to their campaigns. We really believe that this transparency allows advertisers to better understand their user base and buy more intelligently on our platform.
That makes a ton of sense. And by the way, kudos, because not all networks do that. And it is really nice to be able to see the actual names there. Singular always reveals the different publishers, but not necessarily by name if that data is not provided by the network. So that's a real bonus. Excellent. So I'm going to turn to Barbara again. Maybe I'm new to mobile attribution. I know I need to be tracking some core data points. I'm not sure exactly which ones. Barbara, what are the most critical reporting needs in mobile attribution?
Sure. I'd say there are two critical reporting needs. The first is discrepancy and transparency reporting. No matter how your attribution provider is getting install and cost data, like via API or tracking links, there are bound to be discrepancies between your attribution provider and your ad networks. Being able to analyze these discrepancies is extremely valuable to avoid making decisions based on incorrect data. And sorry, but shameless plug, one of the advantages of using Singular is we allow you to compare data sets side by side without having to toggle between dashboards of your ad networks and attribution. And using our transparency feature, marketers can select their preferred source for each metric, then easily locate discrepancies in their data. And you can even set up alerts when discrepancies exceed a certain threshold. I'd say the second critical reporting need is ROI reporting, which we've already talked a lot about. ROI is the single most important metric for mobile marketers. However, most attribution providers are only able to provide ROI insights at the source level because they're unable to reliably match cost data with user level data, like we've already spoken about. True ROI data empowers you to optimize your advertising by the quality of users it's driving. It's also a must-have if you want to scale your programs while maintaining or even improving efficiencies.
Wonderful. Shameless or not, that was really insightful. Really appreciate it. Cool. David, let's turn to you a second. Anything to add?
Yeah, so I wanted to really focus on discrepancies. In my experience here at Liftoff, when there are some discrepancies between the different reports, the first two places that we look are fraud and tracking issues. If the discrepancies are due to fraud, we revamp what we're doing and work hard to protect our customers. And then if the discrepancy is caused by tracking issues, we work with our customers and our attribution provider to get tracking functioning as expected.
Excellent. And that's a great segue because we're going to start talking a little bit about fraud. Maybe one of the worst things in marketing and advertising is ad fraud, which has been a big topic lately. And there's billions of dollars annually that are lost to fraudsters and cheaters and criminals globally. Barbara, let's start talking about maybe some of the, what kinds of ad fraud are most common.
Yeah, I'd say today there are two main forms of fraud. The first is fake users, what most people are familiar with. It includes bots, malware, install farms that emulate clicks, installs, and in-app events. This causes marketers to pay for activity that is not completed by a real user. The second is attribution manipulation. This is an especially dangerous form of fraud since it not only costs marketers their spend, but also corrupts performance data, causing marketers to make misguided acquisition decisions.
Yeah, that's pretty scary, actually. David, what else are you seeing?
Yeah, so from our side, we see click fraud as one of the major forms of fraud right now. It can be anything from click farming to click spamming to click injection to ad stacking. A couple more types of click fraud in there. And these types of fraud are really meant to drive a high number of clicks and reduce the CPC of a campaign, as well as possibly steal attribution from users that would have converted organically. Another example of fraud that we often see is install fraud. Once again, this could be through install farming or click spamming, just once again try to steal install credit. And these types of fraud are done to drive a higher number of installs and reduce the CPIs of a campaign. In order to combat both click fraud and install fraud, Liftoff recommends focusing campaigns on actions that users perform through CPA goals or by setting ROAS goals. Other ways that we can help our customers avoid fraud are blacklisting suspicious traffic, blacklisting traffic from suspicious sources, and we even go so far as to reject anonymous traffic or traffic that doesn't have advertising IDs or IP addresses associated with the devices.
That's pretty hardcore. Rena, let's turn to you here. How can I avoid ad fraud as a marketer, as an advertiser?
Sure. So attribution partners and ad networks will have their own technology to prevent and detect fraud. So feel free to reach out to any of us to talk about how our approach is for fraud detection. There's a couple of things that you can do as an advertiser, and that for one, you can take a look at ROAS data, and that's useful to spot install fraud or fake users. However, click fraud or attribution manipulation will typically snipe organic users that usually have high LTV. At Vungle, we really recommend marketers to take a closer look at their CTR or click-through rate and conversion rate and click-to-install time distributions to find any anomalies. Any abnormally high CTR or low CVR can signal that the clicks aren't real. A click-to-install time distribution that's skewed beyond the 1 hour mark is also an indicator that most users didn't actually download after a real click that redirected them to the store.
Excellent, excellent. So some scary stuff here. Barbara, should I pay extra for fraud protection?
This is such a great question. Honestly, the biggest mistake marketers can make is to think that fraud is a nice to have feature or that they can block fraud manually. Even traffic that looks great, like good retention, high ROI, can actually be fraud due to attribution manipulation, which we just talked about. That's why we at Singular offer fraud prevention for free. Also, to add to the complexity of the fraud protection market, be careful of the actual type of fraud protection your provider has. You need to ensure that your attribution platform not only detects fraud, but proactively prevents fraud in real time. And by this, I mean some attribution providers do not offer actual prevention, but only detection. This means they offer alerts, where you then have to manually look at the data and fix it in retrospect. To ensure you're getting proactive prevention, look out for prevention types like IP blacklists, geographic outliers, hyperengagement, install validation, and time to install analysis. And the more types included, the better. I'm proud to say Singular offers proactive prevention utilizing all of these methods.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. David, we're going to turn to you for the next question, and we're going to start talking about something that's kind of related in some ways. Brand safety is really important for a lot of marketers. Not too many people, of course, want their brand associated with violence, intolerance, or other kinds of inappropriate content that might be surrounding or contextualizing their ads. David, how can I ensure brand safety?
Yeah, we have a lot of customers that really worry about brand safety and focus on targeting specific verticals and avoiding others. So here at Liftoff, we can do this by setting up blacklisting or whitelisting for specific types of apps. An example of this would be blacklisting violent apps from the advertising space.
Excellent, excellent. Good, good, good. Okay, let's turn away a little bit to a new topic, and we're going to talk about some engagement type measurements. So getting the app installed is great, but it's just the first step. David, what are some of the most important post-install events to start measuring?
Yeah, so app marketers need to determine which post-install events are the best indicators for future conversions and revenue. Once these events have been determined, these become the events that should be tracked and used to set goals for your campaigns. These events might be adding an item to your cart, reaching level 10 in a game, in-app purchases, things like that. The idea is that these events indicate a high LTV.
Excellent. Rena, anything to add there?
Yeah, very similar to what David said. Really, it's about understanding what the short-term metrics are as a proxy to determine long-term LTV as the key, which is the key for performance marketing. Oftentimes, ROAS is the short-term metric that we use, and it's a strong indicator of high LTV. Sometimes, though, users will often monetize later in their user lifetime, and so in those cases, we can look at other benchmarks like level completions or retention to do campaign optimizations.
Rena, I can't overestimate how important it is what you just said. I mean, understanding those short-term metrics that you know because you've seen over time in your app lead to valuable customers, valuable users is really, really critical because that shortens your time to understand what's actually going on. That's really, really critical. Getting that wrong can be expensive. Getting that right can really help you reinforce your growth. Really smart comment. Excellent. So, Barbara, we know that data is critical to mobile marketing success. Why might I need API access to my attribution partner's data stream, and what kinds of data should I have access to?
Sure. One of the critical elements to pay attention to if you are in the search for a new attribution provider is data accessibility. After all, your data is only valuable if it's readily available and in a usable format. This is especially important for marketing organizations with centralized internal reporting. You want both your aggregate data like LTV and retention, as well as your user level or device level data available. With device level data available in your centralized BI, you can actually then join it with offline or proprietary data to get additional insights into your users.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so we're on the home stretch here. We have just a few more questions. This has been really, really good so far. Thank you, panelists. You've been doing a great job. A couple more key questions, starting with you, David. David, do I have to use one attribution solution across all my apps? Should I use multiple? What's your suggestion?
Yeah, so this can be a really complicated question, and the short answer is no. You can use multiple attribution solutions across all of your apps. However, the long answer is a lot more complicated, but really comes down to how many tools you want to worry about integrating and how many tools you want your employees to have to learn. The more attribution solutions you use across your portfolio, the more complexity you add to your already complicated portfolio of apps.
Thanks so much, David. Barbara, anything to add?
Yeah, so I actually disagree. I would say yes. Why? Because complexity is the issue here. We live in a world where there is more data than ever before that marketers must make sense of. Why add another mismatched data set or additional dashboard to the mix?
Ooh, disagreement on the panel. Fireworks. I love this. This is wonderful. Hey, not everybody needs to agree on everything. It's awesome. Excellent. Good, good, good. Moving on. Okay, so turning to Rena for our next question. Actually, staying with Barbara. So measuring installs is great, but we do have attrition, right? People leave the app, they go away, they do different things. Barbara, how important is uninstall measurement?
Yeah, it's a useful metric when it comes to understanding your users. By itself, it's somewhat interesting, but when used in conjunction with other lower funnel events, you can begin to understand the behavior of your users and of your marketing activities. And aside from these insights, uninstall data can power campaigns for retargeting audiences.
Excellent, excellent. And now we're going to bring in Rena, and this is almost our last question, although there's a couple questions buried in here. And many apps are not driven by in-app purchases when it comes to revenue. They're ad supported. In fact, I've even talked and written about the concept of ad whales, users that consume a lot of ads and make a significant amount of money for the publishers of those apps. Rena, can I use attribution to know how much ad revenue I'm generating from each mobile app user or maybe each network?
Yeah, I think this is a super exciting one as the industry develops, especially with hyper-casual apps in the industry. Analytics providers are starting to develop features to ingest ad revenue data to be able to track true LTV of acquired users. I think as ad revenue on the user level data becomes more readily available, that this feature will be more widely used by developers.
That makes a ton of sense. Barbara, anything to add there?
Yeah, the short answer is yes. Ad monetization reporting is one of our developing technologies that we have some customers using right now. The best thing I can say is you should talk to us if you're interested in learning more about it.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Wow, that was a lot of questions, and there was pretty rapid fire transition between those. I'd like to thank each and every one of you panelists, Rena, David, Barbara, for being part of this webinar. It was a ton of fun for me. I hope you enjoyed it as well. I'd also love to thank everybody who signed up and listened. Thank you so much. We'll be sending you a copy of our No BS Guide to Attribution soon. And be sure to grab a copy of our Holiday Marketing Insights report, which is coming out on Wednesday. Super exciting. It's my first report for Singular, and I'm excited to release it. If you're looking to turbocharge your mobile growth, chat with us, grab a demo, or ask for some more information. Thanks again, and have a great day.